Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Khoj Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. We continue our recitation from Suhi Mahalla Chotha, composition of the fourth Nanak, Guru Ram Das Ji. And in this, the Rahau essentially is saying, Har Ras Jan Chakho Je Pai, Taukat Anat Sad Lobhai. Rahau. Diagnostic question for anyone who has tasted creative or spiritual alignment. Har Ras Jan Chakho. If you have actually tasted Har Ras, Taukat Anat Sad Lobhai, then why on earth would you be lured or trapped by other fleeting flavors? That's really the diagnostic here, and it applies to those who have indeed tasted Chakho Har Ras, the divine elixir, the essence of life. That's the Rahau really, and around that centers the entire sabad. So the first stanza, the first verse, is essentially the arriving. What has happened? Jihava Har Ras Rahi Aghai, Gurmat Pive Sahaj Samai. So, what is being said here is, my tongue, the tongue, Jihava Har Ras Rahi Aghai, is in a state of complete and utter satisfaction. It's satiated with Har Ras, with the divine elixir. Jihava Har Ras Rahi Aghai. How did that happen? Gurmati Pive Sahaj Samai. Through Gurmat, through the wisdom of the Guru. Pive, when I absorbed it, when I drank it literally, when I drank or literally absorbed the wisdom of the Guru or the instruction of the Guru, my tongue experienced Har Ras, complete satisfaction. And that state of complete satisfaction is described as Sahaj Samai, dissolving into an intuitive spontaneity and harmony. So now the question might be, how does a physical organ, the tongue, know the taste of a non-physical flavor? Har Ras. We know that the tongue is an organ of taste, of consumption, and also an organ of articulation. How does this happen? Actually, this is one of those very profound metaphors that have been used in Gurbani to indicate transformation of consciousness. And the transformation of consciousness operates on a paradox. And the paradox is a physical sensory organ, namely the tongue, experiences a non-physical essence, Har Ras, divine elixir. How does this happen? What is this paradox? So part of the explanation lies in the dual nature of the tongue. Consider this. It is an organ of perception, of course, tasting, and it is also an organ of action, articulation, speaking. And ordinarily, we are tasting food which yields temporary satisfaction. Or when we speak, we are generally engaged in useless gossip, which again depletes us. This is really the cycle of Trishna, that the tongue is trapped in. So now what has happened here is the tongue has been redirected through Gur wisdom. Of course, it still continues to eat. It has to. But how it eats and what that food means to the person changes entirely. It is no longer Trishna. Tasting of Har Ras implies that the psychological dependency on flavor and consumption is broken. Food, instead of being driven by the Trishna of taste, becomes prasad, grace. It becomes a sacramental experience and is seen as an extension of Har Ras. And then at the other level, where the tongue is an organ of speech, when speech is redirected via Gur wisdom to jap, meaning recitation, remembrance, reflection, realization, the singing of praise of the sublime sabad, this is redirection through the Guru. That function changes as well. The act of speech becomes paradoxically an act of consumption. But what are you consuming? You are consuming the qualitative virtues of Har Ras. So the tongue, quote unquote, tastes the aesthetic essence of that reality. After all, you don't just taste food, you also taste success. You also taste the feeling of accomplishment, don't you? That is a taste as well. So the idea of tongue is tasting. And tasting is not simply of physical food. It's tasting even the air around you. So that's how, through Gur wisdom, the tongue breaks out of the cycle of Trishna. And this is actually elsewhere in Gurbani. The same idea is actually repeated. Jihava Rang Chalul Har Har Naam Japi. The tongue becoming dyed in the deep crimson color of love. And the result is Sahaj Samai. Sahaj, a state of spontaneity, where there is no conscious effort, so to speak. The closest parallel that one can think of is autotelic experience. What that means is the activity that you're performing contains its own site of purpose, meaning, and reward. That is to say, the activity and the individual have become one. Most of our activities are not autotelic, they're exotelic. We are doing one thing to get another. The tongue eats to get sensory pleasure, or emotional comfort, or ego validation. But an autotelic experience, everything is the same. The difference with Sahaj Samai is that the psychologists who describe autotelic experiences, these come with the activity. Sahaj Samai is that same experience, but as a permanent trait. And that is what the Rahau has been telling us. Har Ras Jan Chakho Je Pai. Why on earth would you continue to taste other tastes, cheap simulations of the egoic world, namely praise, comparison, status, outperforming? Why would you even do that if you have tasted Har Ras? And so now, Gurmat Ras Chakho Urdhar, Har Ras Rate Rang Murar. Now you are colored. Ras Chakho. Now you have tasted the essence, true Gurmat. Urdhar. Keep that essence locked deep within your heart. Keep it growing. Urdhari. And this is a permanent dye in the color of Murar. Murar, a poetic name, also mythological name, the slayer of the demon Mura. And Mura is symbolic of stubborn, defensive, elusive ego. So now the Guru is saying, keep this there. Stay rate. Live in that quiet transparency of your own self. And then what happens? As Gurbani often does, it is now contrasting the state of the Manmukh, our ordinary state. What is happening here? Manmukh Har Ras Rahi na jai. The Manmukh cannot. Chakhya na jai. As long as you are in that state of ego, you can't. Why? Because you have not sought Gurmat. Instead, how main kare bahute mile sajai. You are operating from independent doership. How main kare. And therefore, you're suffering the consequence of your own absolute alienation. So you see, Manmukh andha lekh na jane, Baj Guru Gubar. Baj Guru. Guru is absolutely essential because it restructures the mind. Haume is a self-enclosed hemisphere. It just keeps looping. And then in the concluding stanza, we see the descent of the sovereign into the mind. Nadar kare ta har ras pave. So the Guru comes to you as a matter of nadar, grace. Nadar kare ta har ras pave. And we know that we got har ras through the Guru. So the coming of the Guru itself is nadar, grace, unmerited. Nothing you did could possibly have done this. There is no self-agency that can actually cause. So therefore, the ego has to be expelled completely. Nanak har ras har gun gaave. That is the only thing that is available to you, the singing of praise. But that is not the cause. It becomes the overflow. You see? You sing praise and grace happens, but actually grace happens and you sing praise. It's an interesting loop. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.